Hello architecture students. This video is going to show you how to make a roof plan. Okay, and as you see on my screen, I've already got a roof that I'm looking down at from the plan view orientation. So plan view orientation, I'm kind of looking down from the air down onto the house. Okay, the first thing you want to do is come over into your properties panel. Now you see that I have several roof plans. That's only because I'm teaching two different classes and even doing this video, but you're only going to have one roof plan like this one right here. Okay, to get that, you're going to go to the level 1 right here. You're going to right click on level 1 and you're going to do a duplicate. Okay, duplicate view and just click on plane duplicate. Okay, so now you have a duplicate copy. It says right here, level 1, copy 1. Now this one, you're going to right click on it and you're going to rename it. And you're going to name it all capital letters. Go ahead and start getting used to changing those to all capital letters. Roof plan. That's what you're going to name yours. Now I've already got, as you see, several roof plans. So I'm just going to add the number 4 to this one. And once you click off of it, it just saves it and puts it in the right location. Okay, so I'm looking down on my floor plan actually from level 1, but I want to see the roof. I have to do some adjustments, make some different adjustments to the drawing in order to see the whole roof. And where I'm going to make those adjustments is over here in our properties panel, and we're going to go to view range. Click on edit. Come over here to offset right here. What I need to do is I need to raise this offset enough. Now this is only going to affect this view. It's not going to affect any other views. They'll still stay the same. I'm going to raise that, and I have to raise it a little bit at a time until I get to the right place. I'm going to start at 20 foot, and then I'm going to also raise the cut plane. So right now I just I raised the top view, the top offset. Now I'm going to raise the cut plane. And I'm just going to go 1 foot under that at 19 feet because Revit doesn't like it when you make that the same as or more than the top level. And I'm going to click apply. Now, as you can see, I'm starting to see some roof, but I'm not quite high enough yet because I'm still cutting the roof off right here. So I'm going to go up to 25 feet and take this one to 24 feet. Okay, now I can see my entire roof, and I hit the enter button to go ahead and accept what I had set. Now, you're going to hide some things in here. The best way to do that, if you have any of these section views that are hidden, you don't want to delete anything from this view, because if you delete it, it's going to delete it from everywhere. You just want to hide it in the view. So I'm going to right-click on this section symbol, come down to Hide in View, and click on Category. That way it gets rid of that category, and all those are gone at one time. I also have some drawing planes that I used earlier to draw mirrors. I'm going to right click on one of them, hide in view, category, and that hides both of them. Okay, now these words you see, which are actually reflecting from the appliances that are in the house, washer, dryer, vent hood, range, everything else. So here, to get those to turn off, because I can't select them, it won't let me select from this level. So I come over to my properties panel right here, and I click on visibility graphics. I click the edit button, and I scroll down and I look for specialty equipment, which is what I found all of those items under. Okay, just keep scrolling till you find specialty equipment, find the check mark, click on it to turn the check mark off, hit apply, and then OK, and all that is gone. So now I have a fresh roof to work with. Okay, so from here is where we're going to draw all of our vents that we had selected and calculated for from the presentation, from measuring our surface area of the attic space, okay, surface area from the attic space, and then calculating that to find out how many vents or how much vent space we needed to be open to the outside world. Okay, so what we came up with for this design was the we had like 11 vents, but we're going to actually put 12. We're going to put 6 across here and then 6 across here just to be even. Okay, and you can do that. More is always better. And then we're also going to put our ridge vents. We're going to put them toward the back of the house, not on the front part of the slope, but on the back part of the slope. We're going to put the ridge vents within 3 feet of the ridge line. Okay, so we have to mark those places. To mark that, I'm going to go to a detail line, click on that, and I'm going to change my line style to hidden lines. Okay, and these are going to be temporary hidden lines. We're going to actually place them and then delete them. So all I have to do is come right up here. I want to come right just to the inside, and you can see how my cursor is locating the walls underneath. Okay, so that's locating where the walls are at. I'm going to click here and draw down this way until I indicate or find the wall underneath the roof that goes horizontally from where I'm at. Okay, you can see that it's I'm picking up the wall underneath at 1 foot 6 inches or 18 inches, which is exactly how far our overhang is, our eave overhang. Okay, I'm going to click and draw across this way. Okay, and just draw all the way to the other end. It's perfectly fine. And that gives us some reference. And, I might even want to reference this other wall as well. And so I'll know where that's at. Okay. Next one I'm going to do is come 3 feet from this line, from the ridge line. Okay, and I'm going to have to see what it's measuring here. So I'm going to draw. I'm actually going to come inside a little bit. Okay, because my temporary dimensions aren't identifying the areas that I want identified. So I'm going to click and draw a line up. I'm going to draw it 3 feet. Okay, and then I'm just going to drag it over to the right and place it just at the end right there. I don't need to see the wall underneath that. Okay, so those ridge vents are going to be within this space. And then our soffit vents are going to be within this space. Okay, and going like right in the center is going to be the best thing to do. Okay, so now our soffit vents we learned were 8 inches by 16 inches, or to say that correctly, 16 inches by 8 inches, to say it according to the direction we're going to draw them. So all I need to do, again, is we need a detail line, but this time we're going to go with a medium line. And we're going to select the rectangle tool from the draw panel. And we're simply going to draw an 8 by 16. Now, with the way that REVIT draws, you can see that, it gives you those temporary dimensions. Okay, and we can kind of leave it at that and just click and place it. And then come back and change the measurements manually. So here, that's going to be 16 inches. And then I'm going to hit enter. And we come down here, change that one to 8 inches. Enter. So now I've got my 16 by 8 inch soffit vent. Okay, I'm going to select it. I'm going to select the move tool from the modify panel. I'm going to bring it down and kind of place it within 3 feet of the edge. Okay, and of course you see I'm not really getting a measurement that I can measure that by. I'm going to place it first and then just measure it with the measuring tool. So it's a little bit far. It needs to be within 3 feet. So I'm going to grab it, move it, and push it over to here. Probably where I should have put it anyway, first to begin with. So again, you can measure that with your measuring tool. And you can say I'm at 1 foot 10 inches to the edge. Okay, and I'm actually almost totally within 3 feet. I do go a little over 3 feet if I measure the other side, but that is not important. It just needs to be placed, within 3 feet of this corner. And that's perfectly fine if we can measure to the edge at 3 feet. All right, I'm going to select this vent. Make sure I select all the lines of that vent. I may have missed one there. And I'm going to click on the array tool up here in the modify panel. All right, now I know I want to put 6. Okay, now if I look over here, I can see that there's different options for creating an array. One is a linear, which is the one we're going to use. One is a polar or radial, they call it, which will put it in a circle or semicircle. We don't want that one. We definitely want the linear. Group and associated or associate is typically chosen by default. Just leave it like that. The total number, that's what the number means here, the total number, not the number that we want to add to the one we already got, but the total number we want overall, which is going to be 6. Now, move to second or move to last. Now, I've chosen last. Now, this is how this works. What I want to do, if I'm going to make this array, I'm going to make copies of this vent, and I can move that second copy to the second position, and the distance I move it from the first position, like over here, it will repeat that same distance for all the other vents that it places in the array. However, I really want to fill it up in here. I want to fill up this whole span. So I'm going to choose last. So what I do is I move that copy to the last position down here, and then it fills in with other copies at all equal distance apart. So that's really the most efficient thing to do. So I'm going to find a spot to grab this vent by. Let's say right here in the middle. I'm going to drag it down to the other end, just like this, and kind of place it equidistant right here in that same corner. And click, and then it gives me all the other vents. So I got a total of 6 vents right there. Okay, so I'm going to put 12 vents. What I can do now is select all these copies that I've made. Okay, and just select one and then hold the control button down. Select again, select again, select again, until you get all of them selected. You might have to release the control button so you can pan your screen over to the side. Then hold the control button down again and select and select. All right, I want to mirror those to the other side. I want to put some over here. So I'm going to select the mirror tool, the mirror draw axis. That's the one I usually use. I'm going to click on it and just come over here and just kind of draw. You only need to draw just a little bit, and then click, and it repeats those same vents down here. So I've already taken care of those vents. Now I want to put the roof vents up top. Okay. I want to put those whirlybirds that we talked about, which were 12 inches in diameter, or at least the opening was. So I am going to go to a detail line. I've already got it set for medium lines, which is what I'm going to use. And then a circle tool. Click on the circle tool, bring it in, and just kind of right in here in the center, I'm going to place a circle that is 12 inches in diameter. Okay, 1 foot. And I'm going to create an array out of those. Okay, so we needed a total, I believe it was 5. So we're going to click on it, click on the array tool. All right, change everything else stays the same. We're going to change the total number to 5. Okay, we're going to leave it to last location. I'm going to come over here and grab it, and I'm going to grab it at the center, pull it over, and somewhere about the same place as that one is from the end. I'm going to place it, and then we have our 5 whirlybirds. Okay, now get with me if you happen to have a fully hipped roof and you do not have a gabled roof like this one. And I will show you, you have to place them a little bit differently, and I'll show you that as well. Okay, now what I want to do is I've got all my vents and stuff in place. I don't need anything else. I'm going to click on those green lines, and I'm going to delete all of them, those little reference lines. Okay, and now I'm going to start dimensioning. So I'm going to go to the aligned dimension tool, and I'm going to click on the end of the wall, and then I'm going to click the center. And I forgot one step we have to make. Okay, I have to draw a line to measure to for these vents, because there's nothing that I can actually grasp onto to place that extension line for each one of these vents. So I'm going to go to a detail line, and I'm going to use the just the hidden lines And just right there in the center, you can get the center of that outside line of that vent. Draw. Hit the escape button, draw another one at the next vent. Hit the escape button, draw another one. Hit the escape button, draw another one. Hit the escape button, draw another one. And finally, the last one. Okay, and that gives me something that I can dimension to. And I have to leave those lines there because if I delete them, then the dimensions will delete along with them. So I'm going to click on the Align Dimension tool, get the very end wall, end of the roof. So it's not a wall, actually. Very end of the roof, and then grab each center on those lines of those vents, and then take it back all the way to the end, and then just temporarily place it right there. Now I also want, for this type of roof, it's just an overall measurement, and I'm going to temporarily place it right there. Okay. Now I'm going to do the same with these vents. I'm going to come to the end, click, and then I'm going to find the center. Now with these, you can actually latch on to the center. Just wait for that little plus mark to show up that you see under my cursor, and then click, and it'll attach to that location. Whoops, and I messed up. Let's go ahead and ungroup that. So let's come over here. I think I can get that now. Okay, I'm having problems getting that to come up. Go here, come here. Now I did that because I accidentally clicked out of my dimension. And it's not going to let me do that. Okay, so if I really end up messing myself up enough, just delete all that and start over. Sometimes that's just the best thing to do. Get the plus mark to show up. This time, watch where I'm clicking. Okay, just move them up like that. Okay, a group has been changed outside of the group edit mode. The change is being allowed because there is only one instance of the type. And I'm going to say, okay, I'm just going to click the X mark next to that warning, and everything will stay where it's at. Okay, so now I've got those dimensioned. Now these are approximate dimensions. It's just a way to get the contractors to spread them out mostly evenly. When they finally put them in, they might be a little bit different because they're going to have to cut around ceiling joists and rafters in order to place these. So they may not come out at the exact same location that you have dimensioned, but they should come out pretty darn close. Okay, next dimensioning we're going to place is a dimension over here on this side. So we're going to go from the edge to the apex, and then to the edge again, place it, and then we're going to do an overall. Okay, and that's all we need to dimension because these vents here are going to be the same as these vents back here. This side of the roof is going to be the same as this side over here. Now, if there were other components such as chimneys or skylights, we would have to dimension those very, very carefully, very accurately, because those would have to be put in exactly the location that we indicate. There won't be any, just getting it close on these. It's actually going to be placed in a later on time. Once we do a house with a chimney, I'll show you how that's done, which is really simple. Now that I've got my dimensions done, I kind of want to place them in the correct location to make everything consistent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this one at, I think I did 2 feet from the wall, and then this one at 6 feet from the wall. I think that's what I did in class. It doesn't matter. They don't have to be that, but you want them consistently. So you want to find some distances to set these lines that are going to be consistent on that drawing. Okay? And you also want to be able to read it. Okay? It needs to be readable. All right? So I'm going to make a line, 6 feet, make another line, 2 feet. Okay, and then I'm going to grab this dimension line, drag it down right there, and grab this one, and just make it, right there at the top of that line, right there. Okay, And then I can delete those lines because I don't need them anymore. I want to do the same thing over here. Okay, 6 feet. Make sure it's straight. If it's not straight, it's not going to do you any good. Come out here at 6 feet. And make another one at 2 feet. Okay, let's bring this line down to 6 feet. Place it right there. Bring this one down to right there at 2 feet. And then I can delete these lines. Okay. Lastly, what we need to do is we need to locate any other penetrations that are going to be in the roof. The next one is going to be plumbing vents. Okay, so why do we have plumbing vents? I just want to show you a little picture so you'll understand why we have these and why we locate them the way we do. Okay, so I'm going to pull a picture in here. Here's a good one. So right here in this photo, or this picture, not a photo, but all of your plumbing fixtures have to drain. Your sinks have to drain, your toilets have to drain, your tubs have to drain, and everything else. They have what's called P-traps. Okay, so if you look at this one very closely, you can see that there's like a curve to the pipe that looks like a P. What that does is it traps water. And it traps water so that you don't get sewer gases coming up from the outside and then spilling into your house, and then your house smelling like a sewer. That's terrible. Okay, so that's why we have those P-traps. The water gets trapped in there and keeps those gases from coming up into the house. Same here with the toilet. The P-trap is actually built into the toilet structure, and it does the very same thing. It traps water so we don't get sewer gas. All right, now when you flush the toilet or run the sink water and water starting to run down the drain, what it does is it displaces this water that's in the P-trap, and then it also displaces air that is in the line. Now, if we don't have anywhere for these lines to breathe, then that water, you actually get a compression situation where you can't drain your water, and your water just gets backed up in the system and spills out into your house because it can't push the air through the pipes. That's why we put vents. This is a vent. It goes out the ceiling or out the roof and allows air. So when I flush the toilet or run the sink and we start pushing water through, then it can displace that air. Now, of course, water is going to be heavier, so it's going to roll down the pipes and everything, but your air is lighter, so it's going to be able to push that air through these upper pipes and then through the vent itself. Same here, when the toilet is flush, it's going to push the air is going to go out the vent. Okay, so that's why we have plumbing vents. Now, where do we locate those? Well, we come over here to our drawing, and we might have to kind of take a look at our level 1 again to kind of see where those items are. Okay, like our sink for our kitchen is about right here in the middle. Okay, so I'm going to put a mark for a plumbing vent here. I'm also going to put a water heater eventually in this garage. I have not put one yet, but I'm going to, and probably a washer and dryer as well. Or no, actually I have a washer and dryer over here. Okay, but anyway, I'll put a vent right here. Okay, now here I'm going to put a vent over my bathroom because I need to vent all these appliances, all these fixtures, as well as the washer. Okay, right here. So I can vent the washer. I can actually tie everything in to the same vent and kind of come up through this wall and then through the ceiling. So all I need to really do is just kind of remember that approximate location and then go to our roof plan, plan 4, and place them on the plan. So to do that, I'm going to go to a tool called Region, and this will make a filled in circle where I need those at. So I'm going to click on Region. I'm going to come over to the type selector and make sure I have solid black, filled region, solid black chosen. Yours will not default to that. You'll have to go in here and click on solid black to change it to solid black. And then choose the circle tool. Zoom in. Okay, you have to be a little bit close to do this because the circles are going to be small. And I'm going to draw a 6-inch circle. Now the 6-inch circle is not the size of the pipe that's going to come through. However, it does, you're able to see it. So they will be able to visualize these spots and be able to see them. Element is too small. Okay, that's what I mean by zooming in a little bit closer. Okay, so we'll come in a little closer. We'll redraw that circle, 6-inch circle. Okay, that was for the bathroom and the laundry machine or the washer. And then in my garage is going to be approximately right in here. I'm going to draw another 6-inch circle to place that penetration. Okay, I'm going to move this one just a little bit. I'm going to click on it and use my key buttons on my keyboard, my arrow buttons on my keyboard, and just move it back inside the wall. And then I'm going to click the check mark, and then it just becomes black dots. Okay, so now we got to label some of these. We got to annotate some of this stuff. Okay, and to annotate, I'm going to go to the text tool. I'm going to choose text with a leader. Okay, and I'm going to draw an arrow and then elbow and then click here. Call this KITCH, kitchen vent. Okay, come over to this one. Make an angled arrow, click again to make that elbow, and then click to make my text box. Call this one bath vent. Okay, come over here. Oh yeah, just click somewhere to get out of that. Okay, and this one is W period H period vent. Okay. All right, so we got those vents. Now I want to actually annotate the rest of this stuff. Okay, so it's going to be real simple annotation. Click here, draw out for a text box, and these are going to be 8-inch by 16-inch soffit vent. And you might want to put a color on here as well, because soffit vents can come in different colors, or they can also just be painted the same color as the house. But let's say we're going to go with white vents and just put the word white in there. So 8 by 16 soffit vent white. Okay, these, click on the line here and draw another arrow, draw over here. And these are going to be 12-inch turbine vent. And they may also have a color that sort of matches the roof material. So let's say the roof material is sort of a dark brownish, so I would name this brown. Or it could be even a black roof with maybe dark brown trim somewhere, you know, around the fascia. So I could actually make that to match that and make it brown for that reason. Or I can also make them black. And a lot of times they come in just galvanized steel, and they're left that way. They don't have a color. They're just left as that regular galvanized steel. So you might just put 12-inch turbine vent galvanized. And then sometimes they're painted. Sometimes they'll paint them with a spray can to match the roof. They might paint them black. So just type in there 12-inch turbine vent black. Okay, and they'll know if they can't find a black one in the store, which they probably can't. Usually they come in brown or white, or I mean brown or just plain galvanized. They'll know to get the galvanized and paint those to the color that you want. Okay. Okay, so those are indicated. Don't need to indicate these because it's going to be the same as this up here. Now what I do need to do to finish my roof plan is put slope indicators. So I'm going to go to the, let me move this, you can't really see that, but I'm going to go to the modify, I do not have, I want to go to the annotate tab. Go to the annotate tab, click on that, and you'll find a slope, a spot slope right here. And I'm going to put that spot slope on my roof. For this type of roof, I'm just going to put one at each end here and then one at each end here. And that shows the direction of the slope of the roof. Now, if you have changed the shape of your house and added some pop outs here and there and some extensions here and there, then you're going to have to place more. You're going to have to place at least one on every slope. If it's a big slope like these are, you'll want to place at least two. Okay, but for smaller slopes, you can just place one. And if you have any questions based on your roof, just ask. Okay, so now I know that was a long video, but I believe we are done with the roof plan. Okay, unless you have like other shapes in here that you need to label. Like if you have a roof, again, with those pop outs like we talked about, then we'll have to identify things like hip ridges or hip lines, and then your ridge lines, and then your valleys. Okay, so we have to make that very clear as well. Now on a gable roof like this, I really don't have to identify that, but I can. And save the project. Okay, and I can just annotate this right here, and that is my ridge. And okay, get in a little closer. I didn't spell that right. Ridge. Okay, ridge line. All right, so indicate that. Like I said, it's not hugely important here on this gabled roof, but on roofs where you got some really complicated geometry, it's best to go ahead and indicate those valleys, the hip lines, and then the ridge lines. Okay. And now that's all of this video.